if it has happened, if you either are the cheater or especially if you've been cheated on, how do you reestablish trust in a relationship?
Did you push record?
Thanks so much for tuning in again to Our Second Act with Paige and Silka.
For your second act of life. Hi, Silka.
Hi, Paige. Paige, today we want to follow up on the conversation actually that we just finished, that older people are more apt in their marriages to cheat than younger couples. So we'll link to that. What I want to focus on today is if it has happened, if you either are the cheater or especially if you've been cheated on, how do you reestablish trust in a relationship? That's tough topic.
So are you asking me, Silka, how do we reestablish trust?
I'm
How do we reestablish trust?
In 10 minutes or less.
So here's the first thing. You've got the person who did stepping out of the marriage, the cheating, and the other one, of course, who did not. So right away, you have to establish, does the cheater want to stay? Because if they stepped out, did they step out because they were done already? Did they step out because they didn't get their needs met and they were trying to get attention? Did they step out because they didn't know any other way to do it? So that's one piece. Another piece is the one who was cheated on needs time. Time is a big piece here. Needs time to figure out, do they want to stay in this marriage? What does that look like to stay in this marriage? Will I ever be able to trust you again? And these aren't decisions that are made overnight in a short period of time unless one person says, I'm done, this is finished, I'm filing for a divorce tomorrow, and it is crystal clear and there's no turning back. Does that make sense?
No, absolutely. And that is certainly one outcome.
Yeah. And so how do you establish trust? You have to go into counseling. I mean, you have to really be able to talk about the pieces that were never discussed. And you know, so I say this all the time. You've got to bring up when things aren't working on a marriage, when they're not working, so it doesn't get so far gone that nobody knows where to begin now. So you have to go into counseling. But oftentimes what I see is the one who was cheated on, like I would recommend both people going in individually and then doing couples counseling. So, and I see this a lot, and I think I said this in the last segment, the one who was the cheater oftentimes just wants to hurry up and get past that piece because they feel so bad about it and they can't sit in the guilt and the shame and the pain that they've caused their partner. And that's a really hard space for someone who stepped out of the marriage to be in. But you know what? If you're going to have that, if you're going to step up and choose that behavior, this is the consequence of learning to have to sit into the choice that you made, because your partner needs a lot of time to kind of go through what the hell just happened here. What were the warning signs? Because I don't care if anyone says, this came out of left field, I have no idea. You always know. There's always threads, there's always flags somewhere as to what happened. And so, rebuilding trust is also not only rebuilding trust in the other person, but if you were the one who were cheated on, rebuilding trust in yourself that, did I see these flags? Why did I ignore it? Did I not speak up? What was I afraid of? What do I not trust about me and about what I believe? Because here's another piece. Many times I've seen that someone in a relationship confronts their significant other. Are you having an affair? Are you cheating? And they do it numerous times. And their significant other's like, no, I would never do that. No. Even though the significant other knows this is not right. Something's not going on. So there's so many different facets of how do you rebuild trust? What do you do? What does trust look like? You have to define, too, what does trust with yourself look like? What does trust with your partner look like again? So there's so many different facets that 10 minutes can't cover completely, but
I was obviously,
I
was facetious, obviously, but you just made a good point. When you counsel, recommend, advise that, we need to talk about, we need to do this. The reality is when you're in this or you're suspecting, you do question, one, you don't want to think that this is happening. Two, you don't want to be accused of being a nag. And three, the answer will generally always be, no, of course not, I wouldn't do that. It's almost like it has to happen. Somebody either has to admit that it happened, or you have to get caught to where that the drama hits before you can then talk about it. I mean, it's really difficult, I think.
It's very, very difficult, and that's why sometimes the one who believes that their significant other is cheating. What I've seen across the board, if someone believes it, it's probably true. So they may want to say to their significant other, let's go into counseling because there's something going on in our relationship. And if you're telling me that you're not having an affair, you haven't stepped out, then let's go into counseling and let's cipher through this. If the significant other is like, no, I'm not doing it, pay attention to that too. Because then you're getting an answer, do you want to be in this relationship? Do you believe that this relationship is working? And these are questions to ask them. Do you believe that this relationship's working? What's working for you? What's getting fulfilled for you? What's not working for you? What's not getting fulfilled for you? Just to see where this other person is that doesn't want to go into counseling to figure out what's going on.
And this just kind of came to me out of maybe left ear, I don't know. What do you think about getting proof or having somebody followed or doing, to where you're like, no, see, here, I mean, that's just bringing on more stress for you, right? Or what?
I have seen it all. I have had clients come in and go, here's my husband's cell phone. Here's my wife's email. I've printed out the emails. I've looked at the calls. I've called this person and hung up the phone. I've done investigative work. I've seen it all. So most of the time what I see is somebody is suspecting that their significant other is cheating on them. They will either try and ignore it because they don't know how to deal with it and they think maybe it'll go away, or it takes them over where that's all they can think about and they're trying to find ways to figure out if this is working. And in the meantime, boy, it's really wreaking havoc, on their body, on their mind, on their emotional health. So I'm all about, come on, ask right away. Honey, this is what I'm feeling. This is what I'm seeing. These are the flags that are coming up. And I'm going to ask you, and if you have any respect for me, if you don't have respect for me now, but if we had respect when we first got married, please honor the fact that if I'm asking you this, tell me what you're doing so we can decide what we do next. That type of ask it right off the bat.
Yeah. And like you said, if you suspect it, something is going on. And even if there's not something going on, then there's something going on with you for being suspicious or misinterpreting situations. And then it becomes, why am I like that?
Right. And that's all about what we talked about, for the show is reestablishing trust with yourself, reestablishing trust with each other. And it goes back to that, emotional attachment. Are you guys connected emotionally anymore? Or is that kind of, so.
Yeah. Again, no easy answers.
No.
We'll continue to do, programming on that, about the working on yourself and being able to trust again. It's find happiness again. So, Paige, we are running out of time. Anything quickly?
Yeah, quickly. So one thing that I want to add is also what I've seen, and this is just from my lens, is so many times when somebody has been cheated on, the person who's been cheated on already has a background of not trusting, like something has happened to them somewhere down in their, life, whether it's a colleague, a business partner, a friend, another relationship, or they've watched their parents, somebody cheat. Like it's been in their theme, and trust has always been something that's been high on their list. It's high on everyone's list. But if you have never had a background of not being trusted or being able to trust whoever has been in your life, you don't really go to that place. But if you've had some type of a history of lack of trust, that weaves its way into relationships.
Yeah, good point. Paige, we'll see you next time on Our Second Act with Paige and Silka.
For your second act of life.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thanks so much for watching. For more love and relationship advice after 50, please visit our website, secondact.tv. And if you haven't already done so, please be sure to subscribe to our channel. Button's right over here. See you next time. Bye-bye.